Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World, where every word matters. I'm host Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. The Indian television reported, citing government sources, that India's National Security Advisor would travel to Moscow this week for meetings with President Vladimir Putin aimed at resolving the war in Ukraine. The visit follows Prime Minister Niranjan Modi's visit to Moscow, Kyiv, and Warsaw earlier in the year. Now, joining us to understand India's role as the neutral mediator is Niranjan Marjani, a political analyst from Vadodara, India. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World. Hello.
Thank you.
Great. Can you first help us understand, because India is trying to play the peacemaker to mediate between Russia and Ukraine. What's India's strategic interest in mediating this conflict?
If we look from the beginning, then India has always advocated dialogue and diplomacy as a solution to this conflict. And I think India is continuing with its stand even now. As far as India's strategic interests are concerned, then India has strategic interest in both Russia, in its relations with Russia as well as with the Western countries. And right through this conflict, we have seen that India has balanced its relations well with both the parties. Russia has been India's oldest strategic partner, and even to this date, Russia remains one of the principal suppliers of arms to India. In addition to that, India is also buying oil from Russia. As far as the Western countries are concerned, India has developed equally strong relations with United States and other countries, European countries. And these countries are also important strategic and economic partners of India. So India does have its stakes in peace, and as India would hope that this conflict should end quickly, because not just it has not just caused hardships for Europe or Russia's neighboring countries, but overall India has been voicing concerns of the global South as well. The countries of South Asia, Africa, Latin America, that they also face a lot of hardships because of this war going on, and because since supply chains are affected, these countries do face like shortage of food, fuel, fertilizers, which is affecting their respective economies. So yes, India is taking a stand not for itself, and not just as not only as one of the major powers in the world, but also for a number of countries, and particularly for the global South. And like I said in the beginning, we are seeing the continuation of India's stand with the recent developments that you mentioned. India's National Security Advisor is traveling to Russia. So I think India is trying to play its part in mitigating this conflict, that I would say at this point of time.
Right. You just mentioned earlier that India still sees Russia as a very important strategic partner, as well as an energy exporter. How do you see Modi kind of juggling and balancing relationship with both Russia and Ukraine and broader West?
If we take a look at India's relations with Russia and the West, not just since the start of this conflict, but I would like to take you back at the end of the Cold War. That was the time when India started building its relations with the Western countries. And if we take a look at India's foreign policy of past 3 decades, then India has built very strong relations with United States and the Western countries. And all this while, Russia has remained India's strategic partner. So when we talk of balancing, then India has been balancing its relations with Russia and the broader West, like you mentioned, since past 3 decades. And both have been India's important partners in strategic area as well as economic area. So this balancing or juggling, the term that is used for India's policies towards both, I think that is India is just trying to protect its interests. India has its stake with Russia as well as the West, and India does have deep-rooted relations with both the entities, I would say. So I don't think India is like juggling or is trying to balance one against the other, but India is maintaining equally strong relations with both the countries, both Russia as well as the West.
And given the recent, well, current global dynamics and the situation in Russia, Ukraine, where peace seems to be very hard to achieve, how do you see India effectively trying to broker this peace? And what can it bring to the table that other countries that have already attempted to broker peace cannot?
India, yes, many other countries has been engaging, and India has been engaging with both the parties. And particularly, if we consider the developments of past couple of months, then we have seen India has accelerated its engagements with Russia as well as Ukraine. Like Prime Minister Modi first visited Russia, then he just last month visited Ukraine, and uh, at the moment, India's National Security Advisor is also visiting Russia. In the meanwhile, only last week, Indian Prime Minister spoke with the Russian President. So yes, India is trying to bring Russia to the table. That what stand has been, and I would like to say India's like a national security advisor is in Russia for attending the BRICS meeting, BRICS National Security Advisors meeting. So I would just like to say India should try and focus on the point that what West is attempting here to isolate Russia. I think India should drive home the point that it may not be possible to totally isolate Russia so that it can come to the dialogue table, because whatever may be the perception, but Russia is not as isolated as it seems, because if we consider now Russia is the chairperson of BRICS, and BRICS summit is scheduled to be held next month. And also we have seen that in the last 1 year, the BRICS has expanded. New countries have joined BRICS as permanent members. If you look at the new membership of the BRICS countries, then it includes Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt. I mean, these are the countries, they do enjoy very good relations with the US, but at the same time, they are also part of the BRICS, which is supposed to be Russia and China led organization, and may have been termed as anti-West at some point of time. But still, the countries which are closer to the West, they are also now open to engaging with the forum, uh, which is led by Russia and China. The thing India can, what India can share with its from its experience is that it would not be possible to isolate Russia and to look for some solution. And it's better to engage with Russia like India has been doing all along, all through these 2.5 years. And I think that is only the way forward. And I think the Western countries should also rethink their strategy as far as imposing sanctions or uh, cutting ties with Russia is concerned, because India has not done that. And maybe they can follow India's example, and maybe India can play some part. I don't know if India would directly be will be willing to play a role of a peacemaker, but in any capacity, if India is able to play, then India should convince West to not try and isolate Russia, but to look for engagement, to look for openings in this direction.
Right,
That's what
definitely a
India can do.
very different perspective that the West is taking, and we'll have to see how that develops. But meanwhile, thank you for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for watching this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.